Right, so let's see. If I'm not mistaken, you usually play support, right? Now you're just filling tank.
Yeah, I used to play support, but then I feel like there's no good main tanks in Diamond and Masters, so I decided to play a bit of main tank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, mostly filling.
I see, yeah. So picking Winston with Diva, that's understandable in its own right, it seems. Checking profiles, all good. Is this from early in the season, or?
No, it's like the last day of ranked.
I see, because everyone is doing placements, it seems.
Yeah.
They're funny. Guess they've got Widowmaker Diva. You have Mercy.
I don't know, you could play like Genji or Tracer for dive, or like a support, like Ana or Zen.
I can still.
Genji or Tracer wouldn't be a good pick. They can dive for 3 people and then ensure that Widowmaker has a lot of free reign, a lot of space.
Yeah.
You have Zen, okay, let's quickly pause this, yeah. Right, so this comp itself is pretty strong, I would say. One of the things you do have to be kind of mindful of is that you cannot dive super aggressively. Main reason being is that Mercy will probably help Widowmaker quite a lot by healing and damage boosting. And then only one of you freaking get Zen Orb, but the comp itself is pretty strong, and if like you, Diva, and Tracer get a lot of pressure on the enemy team, your Widowmaker should have some free shots.
They have Zarya.
I see that's right, that's good. So let us scout for a bit, see what they have.
Right, I think. So we should just go to the left and to the point.
Yeah.
So they have Brigitte, Orisa. You heard the flail, so. Eventually sleeps, yeah. As you're winding like a couple seconds, you call to go like all left side towards the point, which is an option, but you could maybe jump a bit differently then. You could just walk to the statue here and then jumped, and you would have had more distance, and you would not have got slipped probably. Okay, so you have Hanzo 2, Zarya, Orisa, Ana, and Brigitte. And then there's one hero missing, I think. Okay, diving Hanzo is good. So unfortunately you don't really get the kill, but if you see he's like at a position like this, what you can try to do is dive him like this, but then instead of landing here, you could try to land on this spot, because then let's say you land on the bottom cross right, it pushes him that direction, like further away from the team.
Moved away from his escape route.
Yeah. In this case he gets pooped towards his team, unluckily, a tiny bit, and didn't really get the kill. So I'm waiting for you to press tab at some point to see the entire enemy's team comp. See the Ana here? That's McCree, okay. Okay, now you know the entire team comp. You got a pick by now, but the enemy team used some bubbles. McCree still has a stun, and Brick stun was just used, so it's time to get a bit out of here. Simply because you and Dave are together here in your Brig, and she will get a lot of healing off of you.
Yeah.
You get 2 kills, that's fine.
Zarya's Discord, you can dive her.
Okay, let's rewind for like a second. One small tip I can give you against like basically any target, if you're 1v1ing, you can quickly alternate your primary fire with a quick melee. I think it's every 9 ammo or so, and it saves you a bit of ammo in the long run, and in strict 1v1s, it does do a bit more damage per second.
Zarya's Discord,
okay.
You can dive her.
In this case, you're running low on ammo, and then you're like kind of reloading, standing still, not really knowing what to do. It could have been prevented if you maybe use like the melee thingy, but also if you see you're getting low on ammo, it might be time to seek cover, if you will, preemptively. But in this case, you decide to like jump out after this.
Yeah.
But you did have 2 picks earlier.
I was getting low and I jumped up so my Mercy could find me easily.
One tip that I would give you here is that if you're still like kind of winning the fight, because you had 2 picks and you're just about to lose your Tracer, but it's still a winnable fight, is that you do jump up, but don't really fully disengage from the fight and try to like land on the point again.
Okay.
Because now in this case, you jump out, your team wants to fight this, you just commit a Valkyrie, and now you're like not in the fight, so this takes like 5 seconds before you can actually get in again.
Zarya, Orisa now.
Okay, got the Ana, this is good. Nice melee there to finish him off.
They have only brigadiers now.
Okay, so now we see the enemy team comp. It's pretty tough to play this comp against it. Widowmaker might have trouble finding a good sideline against Orisa and Brigitte. Brigitte counters this, and this, the dive heroes. Your two supports are kind of fine. But the thing is, in the enemy team right now, like, who would you like to dive? Like, Orisa and Zarya are not ideal dive targets. Brigitte is not an ideal dive target. Hanzo is not an ideal dive target because he has his mobility and Storm Arrow. So you're looking at either McCree or Ana, and probably both of those will be playing around the break, so it's going to be tough to find a good dive against this. So you'll be looking to try to find an opening on either McCree or the Ana, and preferably when they don't have their stun or their grenade on cooldown.
Yeah.
Or when they have it on cooldown, sorry, so they cannot use it.
Down money though.
Yeah, no.
Their comp is a bit weird because they lack like a lot of healing. In order for them to get a lot of healing, they need to get Ana in position, and they need to ensure that Brigitte like gets a lot of damage done.
She's pretty fat.
And Orisa Zarya is a very bad tank combination. It's basically never run really.
Fine. Reset this.
One of the things that you can also do is just block off Ana healing, because then remains or leaves the enemy team with only Brigitte healing. If you bubble off the Ana and separator, you don't even have to get the kill per se, just zone her out of the fight. Because you have a lot of damage in Mercy Zen and Widowmaker Genji, so.
Ana first, wherever she is.
So now we're kind of waiting around a bit. Waiting this out is fine, but what I would try to do, especially with dive tanks, is to be very decisive. So like, if you see an enemy close or out of position, is that you have to almost instantly go for him and communicate with your team. Because the longer you like sit around and don't really get a whole lot done with your dive tanks, the weaker they become because they need to get that quick value.
Yeah.
Go point, go point.
So now again, we're like kind of not really doing a great deal yet. It's time to get away from this, definitely. There's no real need to drop your bubble there, because the damage cannot be mitigated by bubbles, but as soon as you see Nereboss Brigitte in your face, it's time to get help.
She ain't dying for.
Nah, no.
There's an okay jump going for the Ana in the backline, nice. There's no real need to ulti there. Just rewind it quickly. So you reload, you have full ammo.
Nah, no. Broken hero.
You thought she had sleep up and then she would like insta-kill with someone.
I saw that I was low, and if I knew that they will turn and they will like one-shot me, so
Yeah.
I decided to ult a bit early.
You could have waited a bit longer to get some more damage in, because your weapon reloads automatically. But I could kind of see because you were like 188 HP.
Easy dive
You need to stay in this fight with your team. Right now.
Yeah,
Nice. So this is fine.
I have another trance. I will save it this time for the graph.
Alright.
So the Ana used a grenade. One of the things that I would advise you do is talk a bit more to your team, because I don't really hear you target calling a great deal, so like I don't really hear you talking like, hey, we're gonna attack this one, or hey, this person used this ability. Especially with Winston, because your like own damage is so little, like you do so little damage, you need like follow-up. So it's definitely advisable to at least tell your team who you're going for, so you can get a bit more focus fire in. And it's always handy in general, but especially from main tanks, your own influence is very limited at times. This is really good, kill the Ana.
Okay, let's get him.
You got double stunned, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Forever?
The kill on the Ana was good though, you recognized that she used her grenade, so she was vulnerable.
Yeah,
We
we
should
can
push.
dive, but we lost our main tank.
Just dive and I'll believe.
Hanzo's behind.
This is good. Right now you can go for him basically, for Hanzo.
It's winnable. Get out, get out, get out.
I would have also gone for him in that case, because the health pack was already taken and he had full HP.
He's right side. Let's go in.
They're brigand trees.
As you can see, like, I can't really see your diva here, but let's just rewind just for like 10 seconds, right? See Hanzo? Here's some damage, this is fine. You trade equally. This is your diva, she's about half HP.
Winnable.
Gets healed up. She's now full HP. Nothing's really happening. Your diva is still full HP now.
Dive the Hanzo.
And now she's getting damaged, and now she has to go back.
They're brigand trees. That's
And all the time you weren't really ever committed to actually fighting the Hanzo. So you kind of stood there in the open with Diva, not really dealing any significant damage to anyone, And in the meantime, your D.Va was hit hard enough for it to fly back, so you cannot dive right now. That's what I mean with having to be decisive. You have to be like kind of quick, and you need to like act quickly if you will.
Can you rest me?
Yes.
Let's go for
Okay,
it.
now I need to really fight in, yeah. You use Valkyrie. Let's see. Let's see what you do, but it is very important that you kill these bongos, I would say. Seeing as you don't have a bubble, you can't really go for any, like, people with stuns. Like, your bubble's not on cooldown, so you don't have any ability to block the sleep or flashbang. So I would just go for the bongos. A, because 4 or 5 people are attached to bongos. And seeing as you don't have a bubble, you need to, like, attack something that doesn't really attack you back, which is in this case the bongos. Or at least in a situation where you would not need your bubble, that's what you want to go for.
Will they use 3 ultimates?
So general rule of thumb with Winston, if you want to attack something like an Ana or a McCree, you will 100% need your bubble, otherwise you're going to get slept and
Maybe
stunned.
right Zarya? I don't know if the dive is working for us.
Switch. We have 2 ults, so.
Yeah,
just
we're
use
gonna
ults.
use them and then we switch next push.
Should we just go for it? Just go for it. If they wanna fight it, just.
Just play aggressive, dive points, dive point aggressive.
So your answer now, this is a good ultimate. Separating the Hunter is nice.
Zarya's pop.
Yeah, this is good, it's a nice ulti and you're juggling him in the corner, that's really good.
Nice.
Unlikely that you got
Right
slept,
side.
but it was a nice kill still. This is a fight you might be able to take, but it's risky. But you make it work, so fair.
Just grab it. Sure.
D.Va, right now you're diving with them. Okay?
Your Zen is making a good point here, because I watched the video preemptively. Your Zen is going to say that the D.Va is not really with you a great deal. And part of it might be on your D.Va, but you can also help your D.Va by saying, let's go for this target right side. So this is good, you're jumping in behind him and cutting off their escape route. This is really nice.
He doesn't have any nades, so. Nice. Mercy is gonna res him.
Nice, it's looking good.
We win this, we win this, we win this.
Okay, so your D.Va's going on the right side, that's good. I'll quickly drop the map here. Blizzard World only has this full map, okay, that's unlucky. So we're in the streets phase, okay? So one of the things that you need to do against a team that has an Orisa, and like things like Brigitte, is that they oftentimes, they lack in flexible shielding, so Orisa can only shield one side, and Zarya Bubble can maybe protect it a tiny bit, so... Especially if you're playing dive, playing against a bunker type of comp, you need to look for an opportunity where you can sort of take different angles on the enemy. And your D.Va is doing it right now, like, you just capped a point here. Your D.Va is going to fly in from this side, and you can maybe go from this side and try to get like a pincer move. Let's see if you can execute it well, but like also on Streets phase and on the first point, I noticed that you guys did not really perform any pincer moves, and it's always something you can look out for. Even if you just go behind them without using your jump, then zap them for a bit and turn their attention and then jump back. At least it shifts some attention and creates some extra pressure. You got 2 kills here, it's time to move forward. Oh, your D.Va doesn't go with you, okay. You could have maybe gone for some stagger kills against the enemy, if you guys both committed, but at least your Genji's committing.
But D.Va doesn't have a jump and I was like, to go in against
the D.Va, when you cap point, she was initially going down this route, but then she decided to fly with you. Now you lost 2, it's time to get back again. You cannot fight this, especially when you don't have bubble up. Okay, so now swap, now D.Va, or else that's pretty strong. Then I have Mercy on his heals, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay. In this case, looking a bit more favorable to you. Simply because you have 2 supports which are relatively diveable, even though they heal a lot. You have to like really separate one from another using your bubble. Make an attack either the Mercy or the Ana. Okay, got the Mercy. That's a good ultimate, just chasing them. I wouldn't really try to go for D.Va too much. This is good. Target focus switches, nice. So one of the things that I noticed, it was good that you swapped your target focus from D.Va towards Hanzo, but I would have definitely gone for the bongos. Simple reason being is that you can damage through shields, and if like 6 people get a damage boost, things are looking scary. On this Hanzo, he was incredibly close, so you didn't really have to use your leap to get towards him. but it doesn't end up paying, so it's fine. This is a good jump, separating the Dave and the Mercy. And that's kind of time to get back though. Nice. Okay, so now they have Reinhardt, Diva. That's a fine bubble, just protecting your team. Okay, those one unlucky.
You read that?
This is a bit risky again, because you're diving...
Yeah.
Initially you're diving in
Without
alone because you don't
bubble.
have Diva with you, and you don't have bubble, so you're looking... It's that, but also Anna's right there, and Mercy's still there, so... You know the enemy McCree is going to get a lot of backup, and you don't have sent backup, so it's very risky, especially because you don't have your abilities up. That's up to Reinhardt's okay.
Oh, let's switch it to Ryan.
Get out. Get out. You need to do this.
Much time.
Last 10 seconds.
You need to really move forward, Jeff. There's no real time to move or wait around. So you now have Roadhog, it's interesting. Okay, I would have gone possibly for a shorter pin there.
I tried to pin him as far as I could because he was nanoed.
Okay. You kind of see that, but the thing is, you need to stay alive in this case. Because it's going to be overtime.
Yeah.
And the chance that he has Shatter Up is quite slim, so you don't really have to worry about that too much. And in overtime, like, your spawns will be delayed possibly, unless you have more on point, but the enemy spawns close as well. So you need to like prioritize staying alive here. So a short pin is probably best. Because now you're in enemy territory, your healers might not be able to follow you, and they still have Anna, so you're gonna anti-nade, yeah. And then you get instantly clipped.
Anna discorded.
So Mercy's resing you.
You got the Anna.
Yes. The thing is, like, in this case you get res, but while you were being resed, your diva had no heals, so she loses mech, which is unfortunate. Okay, this is good, just focusing on Reinhardt. Ooh. You can reactively respond to sound cues.
Yeah, I just saw the bomb and was like focused on it,
Yeah.
so I didn't respond to the shadow in time.
Yeah, it's something you can practice. There's like a small sound cue before our shadow comes up, so you can like train your reflexes for that. Besides that, in general, if like a diva bomb is coming up, you have to always be mindful of other stuns in the game.
Yeah.
Point! Don't point.
Nice.
You get a lot of kills here. You're taking the short path, nice, and C9.
Oh.
It's lucky. You could have pushed it further as
Yeah.
a team, but okay. Let's skip a bit. So you guys are running
I think you're fine.
Goats of Roadhog, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe you're right. I'll take into it. It's kinda
Septic. What is Winston's job? Sorry, I didn't see your question earlier. In what exact moment did you mean, like on phase 2 or phase 1 or? I'll get back to that shortly then. I'll just attempt to keep an eye out in the questions channel, Septic. I didn't see it earlier, sorry.
maybe you should play Lucio with this instead of Anna.
No, I think it's fine.
So you guys are playing a very weird variation on goats. It's not even goats anymore. I have double main heal and no Zarya.
Mora doesn't work well with Cream.
Okay, you have to play this. The way you have to play this is a bit weird because you have triple tank, you have to be kind of up close with the enemy, and you have to be in some way aggressive. But because you don't have a Zarya bubble to protect you, you have to also be very mindful of enemy crowd control abilities and the enemy Reinhardt. And on top of that, you need to be aware that your Diva and Roadhog don't give too much ult charge, because Diva and Roadhog don't really have a great deal of shielding.
Yeah.
So they have to quite often shield with their body.
Do we want to start top left?
There's no real need to start top left for you guys, because A, like the position itself is not very strong, and B, your comp's not very strong on the high ground with long range. Like, no one really benefits from it besides McCree. So, and like I said, because you as free tanks have to be kind of up close, you don't want to keep your distance on the high ground. You have to be close to him.
Yeah.
when they have a widow, call it out, please. It's important to know for me.
They have Diva Mercy.
Hanzo's.
Hanzo, okay. So blocking this damage is not really needed yet,
And then Ana.
because there's not really a fight going on yet. I would advise you just save your shield for when the fight is actually going on.
I know Hanzo's. It's a pretty shitty die.
Okay, so you see them going left side. One tip against D.Va, you need to try to time your fire strikes when your matrix is
Left,
not
I
up.
think.
And you need to now rotate to the left side.
Yeah.
Tanks are gonna come up here.
This charge is a bit optimistic, I would say. It doesn't end up...
I hope that the Winston would stay there.
Yeah, but against dive, what you need to do, if you're playing Reinhardt against dive heroes, that you need to try to position yourself very close to your backline. Because even though your Ana might be relatively easy to dive, it becomes a lot harder when there's a Reinhardt swinging around. Like, you can do several things. You can block the D.Va's micro missiles. You might even be able to land the pin once the Winston has jumped or once the D.Va has used her shift. But you have to use like your shift reactively, so you don't want to shift before them. You want them to go into you, and then you can maybe get a pin off. But using this pin, it opens up your Ana, who's in the far left now. And it makes it so you cannot get to the enemy team if they decide to move away from you now. Like I said, it doesn't end up paying poorly here, but... One thing you did do there is to block the D.Va missiles. That's really good. It prevents her from getting a lot of ult charge off your
On the
tanks.
top left.
I have a tracer on me. Alright, heal me.
Okay, so you caught the Hanzo was top left, that was fine. However, when I saw that the enemy team was rotating right side, I would have instantly, rotated to the right side as well. Simple reason being, your range as Reinhardt is quite limited, of course, so you need to just be preoccupied with the enemy front line mostly. Now we're going into risky territory because we're going very deep.
Tracing a recall.
Yeah, you do get shredded, but either way, you guys can't really push this aggressively, just as a team, and you're also getting low yourself, so it's ill-advised to charge in here.
Tracing a recall.
What was that damage?
You should play Zarya instead of Hog.
That is a correct call. There's no need for Hog here.
I don't know. This is gonna work against this die.
Yeah, it's time to get back. So this is good, you're using your hammer, what's it called, knockback, to prevent her from escaping easily. You need to shield your Hog in this case though. If you thought he was in a bit of trouble, you'd rather have your shield block the damage than his body. Yeah, your little Hog didn't really move to the right place there, unlucky. It's still time to regroup, like you have no shield and you lost basically 2 people, because you lost D.Va. You're in no ability to fight right now. And now we're in a bit of a nasty situation, because your shield got completely busted. When your shield is getting low, you have to drop it and ensure that it doesn't break. Simply because if your shield gets broken entirely, you cannot use it at all, so you cannot block any relevant ultimates or abilities. But also, it takes longer for your shield to recharge once it's like completely down to 0, once it's completely busted.
Let's push.
So you always have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, move the point.
This is a good shot. You wait for the monkey bubble to be down. But now it's kind of time to get back again, because your team can't really follow up this deeply. But getting the pin on Hanzo is fine, but now you need to think about instantly getting back. It's because your team doesn't have any speed boost, it doesn't have Zen damage orb or anything. So it's going to be kind of hard to follow up on the shatter you got, even though it was good, so it's time to seek safety again. I think you got booped into the enemy there. So part of this could be like up to you, but like also if you're going in a bit aggressively, you can always ask her like, hey, I'm going in, like help me or heal me, puck on me, something like that. Some handy communication can always help. Okay, so now we've seen the same thing happening a couple times. Their D.Va wants to bomb when you're not around, so
Yeah.
you need to remember, since you don't have a Zarya, you're literally the only way of blocking the enemy's D.Va bomb. Okay, your Hog was ulting. You should have shielded your Hog there when he was ulting. Should have been up front.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's you're either going to commit to trying to defend point B, or you're going to just give it up and go for point 3.
I need heals.
But in this case, nothing's really happening, and your barrier is destroyed again.
We're messing up pretty hard here.
It's time to get back quickly. Yeah. I would not run a contest here, I would literally just go back to the corner here. Yeah. In this case, you couldn't really contest the payload there, simple reason being it's right outside their spawn. And you also didn't really have like any cover to hide behind, so you're kind of finding them in the open against Hanzo and whatnot, so it's not really ideal. Rick gets nanoed.
Again and again and again and again and again. We lose our Rhine and then she do this. Every time.
It's a good div bomb. I wouldn't really go right there, I would just go main. Like, this flanking operation is very risky, especially with a hero like Reinhardt. They need you up front. Okay, could consider either pushing in or just shattering this.
Tracer again on me.
I would shatter this monkey. He didn't have bubble on cooldown yet, I would have shattered him as soon as he got nanoed.
Tracer 1 HP, no recall.
I think Septic left, okay. I land a nice shatter here. Good job. So in this case, you're kind of in trouble as you can see. Let's rewind for like 10-ish seconds.
Tracer 1 HP, no recall.
So, the shatter that you land is good. You kill one. And by now you're probably in like a bunch of trouble, so you might have just want to commit to killing this baby here. Yep. Because now you died and she will get her mech back at some point. If you're about to die, you might as well try to get that little extra kill, you know? Or buy that little bit extra time.
Tracer sleeping, Tracer sleeping. Mercy 1.
Get a nice double kill on Mercy in the Hanzo. Looking pretty good now, you should be able to win this without any ultis. Going for the Ana's okay, but you need... Okay, she misses her sleep, that's a bit fortunate, but it was risky diving onto her without a bubble there. I kind of like taking some random poke damage without any really need for that, so I would just chill again, yeah, behind cover. Let's see if Septic already responded.
I don't know, sleep. No, he did.
Okay. So now you're diving in really deep again.
It was returned, yeah.
Yeah. So going for like this
I don't know, sleep.
very large flank is very risky. Simply because your team will not be able to follow you up as easily. And with heroes like Doomfist and whatnot, this can work. But like, you don't have the damage to get any kills here.
I just saw she had no sleep and then tunnel vision into her to kill her.
Yeah. I need to imagine. You need to remember though, Mercy can still heal through barriers, so it will take you a good 20 seconds to solo kill, to kill an Ana that has Mercy healing her. If it's a 1v2.
Because I'm sleeping and I'm not getting bubbles or anything.
Okay, so now by now, it's stall mode, it's desperation time. You do get like some trades, which is good. But one of the things I would be looking to do is do as much cleave damage as possible and stay alive as long as I can, just because I want to farm my ult for my team to get back. That means several things. Firstly, you want to like stay on the edge of like the contestable area of the payload and just drop your bubble there and just use it for cover and try to sap as many people as you can. Second, it means jumping into like a large group of people to just farm your ultimate here. Now you're just kind of constantly fighting one target. You do eventually get killed, and you could have maybe farmed your ultimate in time. Then an extra 10% if you would have attacked multiple people at once, either through your jump or through your Tesla cannon.
Jesus, this Tracer, I'm not the only one doing damage on her, I'm pretty sure. She recalls only for me.
You get the Tracer, that's good. Okay, so in this case you ult it, but I think it's because you wanted to not be booped by the monkey, right?
Yeah. I thought that the monkey would boop us all back, so they get the point, so
yeah.
I also have to stay on it.
Either way though, you still had your normal jump on cooldown.
Nobody's rushing her.
So you could have just jumped once here. There's a reason you don't really want to ult in this. Like I said, firstly, you still had your normal jump, but second, you still had like 500 HP. Like if you want to stall this out, just wait until you're like below 100 HP preferably, or below a certain threshold that you're comfortable with, and then ult. Or what you can do if some target is low and you don't have ammo, you can just primal rage and instantly confirm the kill. But in this case, it was not really needed yet. Going for Mercy, that's good because she's overextending. You need to hide behind the payload.
Yeah, I mistimed that.
Yeah.
Ana needs to die.
I mean, like, in terms of timing, either way, you could still attack the D.Va whilst you were running towards the payload. This is good because now you have your bubble up. This is looking good. You're holding the edge of your bubble. This is really nice.
Yeah,
Should have meleeed.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Anna's
Let me quickly rewind, because when you see here, this one you can melee.
one.
Okay. It's very unfortunate, but
Anna's still one.
yeah, she got healed by now. One of the things that you kind of mistimed there is your reload animation, because
Yeah.
you tried to melee it, but then you didn't have ammo regardless. So with like a bit better mechanics, you could have confirmed the kill there. If you're ever in doubt, like if you have ammo or not, just watch the bottom right and just see if you have ammo, and then you
Oh, C9. Nice.
United. Okay. Let's quickly like to review this part of the review. One of the things I'll be looking to do with Winston is definitely to be a bit more decisive, because there were quite a few moments where you were not really committed to any fight, just kind of taking some damage without dealing any damage yourself, which is always risky. So if you want to run like very quick and mobile heroes, you need to use that mobility to an advantage, and oftentimes it means being a bit more aggressive, being a bit more proactive, but because you need to get your value quickly as Winston and D.Va, because otherwise you're just like taking damage for no apparent reason, and that can be very risky. As for your Reinhardt, one of the things that I would be mindful of doing, and this kind of also goes for Winston, is to play a bit more with the team, because there were quite a few moments where you were trying to like solo dive a target, which is always very risky and rarely a good idea to do. And there were a few moments where you were, when you were going on like mad flanking operations with heroes like Reinhardt. It's not really what you want to do. And one of the things with Reinhardt, what I often know is that your team was in front of you, which means that you either have to call them back and say, hey, dude, get back, or you have to walk forward and shield them, because there were quite a few cases where your team was taking damage and you were behind your team, and then your shield was also taking damage, so you didn't really have anyone to effectively protect in that case. One of the things I would be mindful of. Any questions so far or not?
No, not really.
Okay. Let's go to the second VOD, then Menopol one.
Hello, team.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so you've got a Mei on Village. Do you intend to play Orisa on this map here, on Village?
I just had a good game with the Orisa before, so I decided to just try pick her.
I see. Orisa is definitely good on Sanctum, but she's not very common on Village. The Village is very much a Rhine favored map.
I will try.
Okay, so now you have double main heal again with Junkrat and Mei. What I would advise to do here is just fight on point. Like, ignore the high ground, just fight straight on point.
Can I play here?
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
In this case, you're going top.
Everything fifth.
Okay, they have Doomfist. One of the things you need to keep in mind against Doomfist is that if he wants to go for you with his rocket punch, you need to neutralize it with your pin.
Dive.
Like, you want to save your pin for that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have your pin available, you need to take cover, if you will. In this case, you take a lot of damage, you do get healed up. Once again, we're a bit of a risky situation. Lucky. Mei gets picked. In this case, you're kind of like taking damage again without any real need to take damage.
Give out of luck.
You might have to shield up a bit. Nice pin, looking good.
This is low.
Your D.Va's mech again, something to focus. Get D-mech again, now it's just time to focus on point and it's all fine.
Get baby D.Va.
Now you need to preoccupy yourself with the soldier. Baby D.Va's not really the biggest issue, and since you cannot reach her,
I will go.
just switch to another target. Because I'd rather have D.Va get re-mech'd when I cap the point anyways. Then I would want to give soldier ult charge. Right now Doomfist is ulting. That thing does 300 damage in the epicenter, and for heroes with no mobility it can be an insta-kill but your shield can block it. So whenever there's a Doomfist ulting, you need to tell your team to pivot around your shield, and then you can block basically everyone from it. In this case, you're not really there to block it. It doesn't lead to any casualties yet, but it could very well have, to say the least.
Yeah.
A lot of bit of damage on Zen, this is okay. I will go back to point, ignore the Mercy. Just go for the Doomfist and the Roadhog that are on point. It's a bit unfortunate. I can see what you were trying to do there, hitting the pin, just the Seismic Slam,
Yeah.
but Doomfist is very tough to play against regardless. So.
We can.
Okay, so the enemy team has a very awkward comp as well. Your DPS are a bit awkward as well. What I would advise you to do is just use your shield a lot rather than swinging a lot, because your May can just freeze both tanks and the enemy team for free, and your Junker and Zara can get free damage, and they can get a lot of the Zara can get a lot of graph charge, or what's it called, energy charge off of the Diva and the Roadhog.
Doomfist is 1, right side.
Soldier's really close. You could just let's rewind that. So you're going in here, you trade kind of equally.
Doomfist is 1, right side.
Try to help the Zarya. This is definitely worth a kill, yeah. Okay, after the Doomfist punch wears off, it's time to shatter. Okay, nice, you do it. In this case though, you know he's meter striking, you need to shield up again instead of charging.
Yeah.
But it was good that you recognized the opportunity to shatter, and good that you waited for the Doomfist punch to be on cooldown. Team might still be winnable, no.
Let's group up and when we will push, I will use drop.
Okay, luckily get saved kind of by the wall, but
Yeah.
if you're standing in a choke with a Roadhog, just either take cover or use your shield to block things. In this case, again, you guys are still kind of regrouping when you're at the gate, so I won't really go in yet. Since they have a lot of damage, you need to like close the gap with your shield, so you don't want to get your shield worn down before anything is really going on. In this case, you're kind of alone, your team doesn't really have shielding for the choke, and you're already down to below 1000 shield HP.
Doom behind you, May.
Let's go.
You lose one. Hog is ulting. A bit unfortunate. Not really the best timing for your Zara to Graviton there. It's time to step back, yeah. Nice kill. I won't really delay my death any further. This fight's lost. I need to die quickly. Yeah.
Hey, wait, let's regroup. Roadhog on top.
Okay, you can hear him coming. You could have counter charged him maybe, or just peek, not peek that corner. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Like this is what I wanted to see. You wait for them to kind of come into, so you can shield them closely. And now your Maze just gonna get a free freeze, and your Zara's gonna get a free charge as well. Okay, you get the hog, nice. Someone's gonna have to touch point soon.
Get you at my shield.
Yeah, you rotated fine. This is a very small tip, but if you fire strike a demeching Diva, you need to wait until she actually pops out of her mech, otherwise it's just lost damage. May walls this side off, good. So against Doomfist, when you like see him going in like that, so let's keep track of Doomfist's abilities, right?
Yep.
He uses Rocket Punch, he uses Seismic, so he only has Uppercut now. When you see him use his Rocket Punch and he doesn't confirm a kill, he will likely follow up with his Seismic Slam to close the distance again. So when you're playing against Doomfist, you want to play around corners where your team is, just so you can like get the occasional hammer swing in, because that displaces him a tiny bit and just makes it uncomfortable for him, if you will. Okay, in this case it seemed like you were kind of hesitant again what to do, like you kind of wanted to go for Doomfist. In this case your shoot gets busted eventually. But if you're getting low on HP and shield HP, it's time to just seek cover around the corner. Not really a great deal you could have done because your healers were dead, I believe, or not healing you. But you could maybe take a bit more cover there. Unlucky. Yeah, not much you could do here.
Support you.
Okay, so you're going for Reinhardt again? Oh, let's...
Yeah, because we had a brick.
Yeah. This team comp is looking quite alright actually. You're a bit low on healing, but then again you do have self-sustaining, what's it called? Mei, so it's looking pretty good for a team comp. If you just wall people off on point and fight there and get some good like crowd controls off with Mei and with McCree, you should be fine here. And with Brigades of course. So in this case, what you need to do, seeing as you have like Mei and Brigitte, you have a relatively short range. You need to really get close to the enemy at some point. Because in this case, like, you use your own shield, you use your own team bubble. They use some abilities now. But in the meantime, like, if you just walk up and swing at some people, you're either going to like maybe confirm a kill, or you're gonna have to force them to use some abilities. But in this case, like, you're like kind of just standing around without really doing anything. So if you're playing against mobile heroes like these, try to force them to use one of their abilities until you see like a target that makes a mistake. Like if Diva uses her fly but she's still in range, that's a go-to target for an attack. But in this case, you need to kind of swing at the enemy and get a bit closer, because you don't have long range damage like they do.
Yeah.
Once again, you want to counter charge that, and you want to ensure that your barrier does not get broken entirely. Okay, those two, it's time to reset. Maybe get some ult charge, yeah, that's good. Okay, like the fight was looking kind of like not winnable when you lost two people, so it's good at least you and Zarya can get some ult charge.
Hey, can you swap please?
My ultimate is charging.
I mean, it's kind of just waiting around. Like, what he's doing right now is not really any bit effective, but I would have instantly pushed him here. Like, he's grossly out of position.
Yeah.
Like, there's his team, right?
Mm.
And there's the Roadhog. As soon as he doesn't have his hookup, you can charge him here. You could just turn around a corner and charge him. And then again here, you could just walked up, swung at him, charged him. And here again, like, you're kind of standing around indecisively again, but if you just all push this Roadhog and punish him, he's like a free kill.
Mm.
You need to pivot around your team again. Okay, so this is pretty interesting, because you had a good lineup for Shatter here, actually. So Doomfist, when he ults, he sticks in this animation on the ground for a while, so if you...
Yep.
As soon as you see him, you can Shatter, and then you can get the Shatter off in his ulti. So in this case, this is a perfect moment to Shatter. Like, you'll get the Diva and the Doomfist, and maybe even the Soldier with some luck.
Yeah.
I do land a good Shatter. It's unlucky that you get booped. It was a fat Shatter though again. But it's kind of hard to follow up here. This is one of the things I would advise you against Doomfist.
I have the
With heroes like Doomfist and Brigitte, it's oftentimes worth it to solo Shatter, and the same goes for Mei. And it's because those heroes have a lot of self-sustain when they get their abilities in a rhythmic pattern that they like. Like if Doomfist gets his abilities into proper combos, he's going to get self-shields and he's going to get multiple kills. Mei, she can freeze people, self-sustain, she can split people off a wall. And Brigitte's kind of similar, like she can stun people, flail a bit, displace people, and then all the while doing healing. So, especially with those three heroes, if you see an opportunity to solo shatter them, it's oftentimes a very legitimate and viable thing to do. Just because it breaks their pattern up entirely and deals with them instantly. Supposing you land a kill, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, now you just commit a bunch of ultimates and you get your shatter back, that's nice.
Nice freeze.
You can kind of see it as well, like, you've blocked a whole lot of damage, and you, like, your stats are kind of similar to what mine usually would be in terms of damage versus damage blocked. But in this case, you kind of need to be up close to them because you have, like, 4 characters that rely on melee damage mostly. And because you're playing against Doomfist as well, it means that part of the damage of the enemy team cannot be negated through barriers because he goes through barriers. So in this case, I would be looking at actually, it's not often that I say this against Reinhardt's, but I would be looking at going in a bit more aggressively and a bit more offensively. I just stand on point now, yeah. Kind of just waiting around, waiting for things to happen.
Yeah. Never mind, he's main.
You're here McCree on the right side. There's probably people on the right side, yeah. Shielding up, hopefully. Yeah, we're all good. So in this case, the soldier visors, seeing as they have literally no shielding, you could have just smashed Q as soon as like you had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because do keep in mind, A, they have no shield, so they cannot block your shatter, and B, because you're playing against heroes, like you're playing against their Doomfist, so you have to fight kind of up close in order to like, because he will fight you up close definitely, and because you need to play kind of up close, you can use shatter quite liberally here. They have no shields. This was a good one. You get the mercy, nice. So it doesn't end up paying poorly here, but against our team comp, you can farm quite a lot of ult shatters if you play it well. And on top of that, you can use your shatter quite disruptively, if you will. Like, if there are soldier visors, free shatter. If the Doomfist goes in, free shatter. If Murdoch wants to ult, free shatter. Like, against a team that has no shields, you can use your shatter quite disruptively.
They have Reinhardt now instead of Diva. I think they're going top right.
Because now they actually have a main tank.
Nice shot.
Okay, it's time to pivot around your team again. So now in this case, you're playing with McCree, right? Any hero that doesn't have mobility, or that doesn't have like more than 250 HP or 400 HP, is at risk of instantly dying. So you need to make like a good view of who can be insta-killed. Mercy probably not, because she has mobility. McCree needs to be protected though, so you have to really be mindful of what heroes in your team are vulnerable to Doomfist ultimate, and play around those and protect those. In this case, he's going for the Brig, okay. It works out for him, but not very common, I would say. So you could have maybe been with your team a bit sooner, but either way, like, you see the Maze ulting and you're following it, that's good. This is good, you're using your hitbox mechanic. Nice, you get the kill. It's time to get back, definitely. They're far now.
Yeah.
Calling for heals, that's good. Either way, I would get back to just a point now. Even if it's like the last waning seconds, you don't really want to leave your team without a shield here.
Good job.
Good brick, really.
So now we're going for Sanctum. This is the map that Arissa is actually really strong on.
Do you want me to go Diva?
So would be better, but we could also go like Zarya or Lisa, or Zarya Hawk. Let's hope this works. If you're left
Good.
side.
Oh.
Let's go.
So you see a Pharah. You see Reinhardt Zarya, okay. If you see Reinhardt Zarya, you want to bait the team bubble and just pull the Reinhardt off the map, or the Zarya. I kind of want to... Okay, they're coming towards you. It's actually pretty good for you. You can kind of just displace them right now. What you want to try to do is just keep your distance from them. That pull mechanic doesn't work anymore through walls, sadly.
Yeah.
What you're doing now is kind of fine. You're
Zarya's
just
one.
getting a lot of damage like from range in, keeping your distance safely. It's a good pull, just pulling them together and displacing the Reinhardt a bit. It's really nice. Gets up close. Okay. A small mechanical tip just for like general aiming. This guy's jumping up and down a lot. One is doing it multiple times. If people like jump up and down, you can just make the same arcing motion with your mouse.
Yeah.
You just click them for free because they have very little movement control when they're jumping. But you do land a kill, which is nice. Okay. Small tip, if you're playing against Lucian, he has boop, you need to constantly keep shooting if you can.
Yeah.
Or counter strafe, because it will make it sure that you're very hard to boop. You want to not get booped off the map without using your Fortify, of course, because Fortify is preferably used for Rhine charges in this case.
Yeah.
So what I would tell your team now is to just get back, because at some point they'll have to come towards the point, right? They're either going to get like spammed to death in this little corridor here, or they're going to have to rotate towards this mid area where you can pull people off for free. So I would just tell your team to get back and hold a bit further back. Because with Orisa, if you're playing against the Reinhardt, you need to know you have more shielding and more firepower than they do, but they have a flexible shield that they can put up and down wherever they want. So you want to really keep your distance from Reinhardt and make sure that he cannot push past your shield. So in that case, you want to hold a bit further back. Okay, you could have pulled him here. The wall eventually disconnects it. But it was a good opportunity you spotted regardless. So one of the things I would be looking to do now, okay. You die without using any of your abilities, which is a bit unlucky. But if you're playing with this comp, You could literally just bunker up, like you're shooting up very aggressively. Whereas, let me put up Sanctum for a second.
You mean like just in the back of the point?
Yeah, oh, that's the wrong... Yeah, basically like just hug a wall, if you will. See if there's any nice one, yeah. Let's say you put your shield up around like here, right? So you can still contest a point. They can only like walk into you. Because Orisa is quite weak when she gets flanked and gets attacked from different angles. So if you just like keep near a wall, contest a point with a little bunker, it's very strong. And like I said, you want to keep your distance from them anyways, so just bunkering up is perfectly fine. Especially when you're already one man down because you lost Mei. And when you're getting like in a bit of trouble, you can use Fortify just to get back. And also when you need to like sort of get out of trouble with Orisa, you need to stop shooting because shooting reduces your movement speed.
Yeah, let's reboot.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Supercharger is ready to be deployed.
I have grab.
It's the last one, it's unlucky. Enemy team's not playing Sombra.
I can use it.
Okay. Bit unfortunate, but I think there was like a bit of overcommitment from both sides here. So, okay, you guys use Grav in this fight.
I have grab.
What I would advise you to do, if you're using Graviton, I would advise to not use my Supercharger, because Supercharger is very strong when you're building up new ultimates. You don't really want to use Supercharger in combination with other ultimates too much.
I can use it.
Because basically if you just get a good Grav off and Mei freezes like a bunch of people just with her primary fire, that should be enough to secure the fight anyways. Then Big Reptile comes in unlucky. I think you're going to switch to Rhino here if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Rhino if they don't have Doom.
I need to be a bit careful because they do have a Sombra and you don't have your charge ability or anything on cooldown, so charging in there is very risky. You do make it work, but it's a long distance away from your team and you could have been easily killed, stunned, hacked, whatever.
I saw that they're all stunned and then I decided to just charge it.
Yeah. I kind of see why, but it's very risky. Like you could have also just sent a fire strike and a primary fire here or there.
Nice.
Several things could have happened. The Moira could have healed the Reinhardt through your charge. You could have been stunned, could have been hacked. A bunch of things could have happened, and you were far away from your team, so in that case you were in a risky position. Good pin here. I would shatter this. If you're playing Reinhardt and you're in an enemy Graviton, you need to either shield up to block like projectiles and other like things, but if the enemy's up close, you might have to just like shatter them to prevent their follow-up. I kind of missed it. Could have maybe killed the Junker there. This is pretty good, like now you're just shooting your team, protecting them, you're playing with them. It's lucky that he eventually lands the kill when you do stabilize. You may get attacked and to protect her.
I have grab.
I would just get back now, there's no need to block this damage, there's no fight going on. Yeah.
Behind the door.
Will they use it when they come?
This is a risky charge again,
Yeah,
because your team's probably counting on the shield on the right side. So you cannot really just charge away like this. Like I said, it doesn't end up costing you much here, and this flank again as well. But the higher you go, the more people will exploit this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would shatter this instantly now. They just commit a beat drop. If you just shatter them off here, perfect.
nice one.
Okay, they get overtime.
Oh,
It's
no,
lucky that you
no,
missed a
no,
pin,
no.
but if you're ever like
Yeah.
in a grav, just pin one of the squishies, and preferably one of the more important ones. Okay, so these people are gonna get frozen. This is good. Hitting them all together.
Nice one.
Nice pin there. I would shatter again instantly. No second thoughts.
Nice.
Right, so they win this game. Nice.
Good job. GG. Good job.
If I may ask, I think you don't really play tank a great deal normally, right?
No, not really. I have like about 10 hours on all main tanks.
I see, yeah. I can kind of notice because you have like some weird habits every now and then, and you sometimes like seem to not really know mechanics and how some
Yeah.
heroes interact with each other. So I would say if you want to practice it more, it's definitely a good idea to just practice it more, because I think quite a lot of things that you can improve on can just be improved by trying things out and just raw practice, putting in hours. A few tips I could give you though. with Reinhardt in terms of shield management, I would be looking like sometimes you let your shield get busted completely, and sometimes you kind of took random poke damage on your shield when there was no fight going on.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to do that too much. Second with Reinhardt, this goes for both Reinhardt and Winston, but I would stop going for mad flanking missions. It is a bit of a hero play, and in some situations it might work, but the risk is far bigger than the reward, so I wouldn't really go for it.
Yep.
Like I said, getting to know common hero interactions like charging with Doomfist and shield mechanics on, what's it called? Doomfist Ultimate, stuff like that. Besides that, just like your general decision making in games was okay, so there's nothing too big there. I would be using it. I would be looking at using my Shatter a bit more liberally, and in some situations you can be a bit more aggressive on your Reinhardt, which is not something I often say to Reinhardts, but in this case it was true.
Yeah.
With Winston, it was same thing. Like learn the mechanics a bit better in terms of like animation cancels, reload timings, and whatnot. And especially with Winston, be mindful when your bubble is not up, because if your bubble is not up, you cannot really dive any target that has a crowd control ability of any sort.
Yeah.
So those like the biggest key points I would make. Any questions on your end or remarks whatsoever?
Not really.
Alright. Then I hope it was a bit helpful.
Was really helpful.
Cool. What would be interesting to do if you could either in Pugsy or normal comp or whatever, just record some gameplay when you're playing tank again, and let's just, if you want to continue doing VOD reviews, just show me new VODs after every VOD review and see if we can spot some improvement or extra things that you're beginning to pick up.
Yeah.
That can always help.
Yep.
Alrighty.